Welcome again for round 4. Now, as you can see, we will have a rather water-intensive match going on. We've got a few islands, 1, 2, 3, well, 3 big ones by the look of things, and a few small islands, although those are of no strategic value as far as I can tell. We have Artwarp again, who is gonna be spawning in the orange trunks, and we have Godde, who is going to be blue. Now, Godde, if you have followed him, is a very good player. He's, I think, one of the first ranked guys in amount of, well, true skill that he has. So he's a pretty decent player, but we've also got Artwarp, who won his previous match and who did pretty well as well. So it's gonna be an interesting match. I'm not entirely sure how the spawn points are gonna go over. Looks like the oceans aren't actually moving. It might be that there are no tides, either because there's no moon or because the game is actually paused until the players choose their spawn points. Okay, looks like the ocean is actually static as long as there are no moons. Interesting to know. So yeah, I assume these are standard opening from Artwarp. And let's see where Godde spawned. Godde spawned in the middle of the ocean, so pretty standard opening here as well. Yeah, looks like it is. Nothing fancy going on. Bot factory first. I'm not entirely convinced by this choice. Mostly because he's on an island, but yeah. We might actually reconsider that before he builds anything else. Air factory first, which seems to make more sense to me than a naval factory. Although, oddly enough, it seems like they redid the air factory design for water air factories because there's now no middle bit, which is interesting. Yeah, they definitely redid it. That's kind of cool. I like it. I approve. So yeah, obviously fabricator bot first. It's gonna help claim the metal, but yeah, it's not gonna be that useful anyway. Else, some fireflies going up. Actually, quite a number of fireflies going up already. 2 in the air, third one going up now. So Godde wants to know exactly what's going on, I would assume. And Godde already spotted the base of Artwarp. He knows he's on land, so he knows he will use require need of some kind of siege vessel to actually flush him out. See, actually, for a second there I thought he would park his scouts around the base to see what would be going on. But it doesn't seem to be the case as of yet, although these scouts are actually parked around. It's actually quite smart what he's doing now. He's actually parking those scouts so you can keep tabs on when there will be any naval factories being constructed. First, aerial fabricator is also now up for Godde. Artwarp is just proceeding to economy up the best he can. And this firefly is attacking the fabricator. Seems to be hitting the plant here instead by the look of things. Well, the metal extractor. Using the scouts aggressively. It's always funny. There is now, yeah, a stinger moving around, so I assume that's gonna end the aerial harassment. But as long as this firefly stays on the ground, he can't really do anything about that. And now an aerial factory also going up. Scouts are being annoying as hell. Naval factory now for Godde. Going additional fabrication, which again, no surprise. Is looking to get a decent sized navy up before any navy can actually go up for Artwarp. These scouts still being pesky as they can be. I wonder if this scout can actually attack this guy, but I somehow doubt it. Scout's just being pesky, but not doing much of anything at the moment. And doesn't seem to be going much else. Well, doesn't seem to be going. Yeah, well, expansion going up here, or expansions going up there. It's actually the first time I've seen God play anything other than a land game, because usually he's very into the bot rushes and large amounts of those. So I'm kind of curious to see how this will impact his playstyle. It doesn't generally go air first. It doesn't generally go air until like the 5-minute mark or something. No additional factories being tacked on so far. I would assume you would put those around expansions, but doesn't seem to be doing that just yet. We've got A up now, and these hummingbirds will probably be used primarily for scouting purposes. I do believe this commander might actually try and construct some kind of naval. Yeah, he is. Okay, that's good. And what? He's gonna go. Oh, okay. He cancelled that. He was going to build an advanced bot factory, but then he realized that would probably be a bad idea because I can't use bots around here. Not actually taking some land here as well. I do wonder if he will try to make a land base. No additional naval factories planned as of yet, so I'm scouting around to see if he planned them anywhere else, but it doesn't look like it. These hummingbirds actually just scouting around to look for metal expansions and probably the main base. And as the first naval fabricator going up for Artwarp. Building a second naval factory. Let's actually check if Godde knows about these. No, he doesn't. So, as far as God's concerned, there is nothing navy going on so far. Now he does realize, he notices there's one up, the second being constructed, and he sees the advanced air factory that's being constructed. So that's very useful scouting until he just got there. Does he use that? Yes, he's building additional naval factories. He isn't building much else though. He isn't building advanced naval, nor is he building advanced air so far. And this is actually the most clumped up base of God I've seen thus far. Usually he spreads stuff out even more than he would. Okay, so in come the hummingbirds, but they're being taken out by the hummingbirds of God. And an additional air factory is going up now. The advanced air factory is about halfway done for Artwarp. And we see the first narwhal going up. Narwhal is a very good anti-air unit, and is actually also a pretty decent anti-naval unit. It's not as great as the blue bottles, like those being constructed right now are, but it's still pretty decent. I mean, it's not gonna take a blue bottle out on its own, but it's definitely gonna take a few hits and gonna deal out a few hits of its own. Advanced air factory now going for God as well, and he's assisting it in a pretty thorough manner. It's gonna take quite a bit to outproduce the air factory going for Artwarp, but I do believe he might actually be able to do it. Another number of narwhals going up for God. And an advanced naval factory being constructed here as well for Artwarp. So we're gonna see quite a number of high-tech units on this game, I do believe. It's actually funny how shallow the water over here is, because you can see the commander is actually only halfway submerged. So this is a very shallow sea. I would assume the sea is shallow for the rest of the planet as well. Commander is in the water here, so I can't really tell all easily. So we've got two narwhals and a blue bolt moving out. I assume they will attack this metal expansion around this area. We've also got a number of feathers moving in here, which is a curious thing. I would assume they'd try some artillery play or something of the sort. An advanced naval factory now being constructed here as well. Advanced air fabricators going up for God. And peregrines going up for Artwarp. I'm actually gonna check if he uses these advanced fabricators for upgrading his economy or for any other projects. I would assume it's gonna be primarily for economy play, but it's not doing anything as of yet. We'll just it's actually moving now. Yes, it's gonna upgrade the economy. So to conserve the lead that he already has economy-wise. His metal expansion is being taken apart here. Although that's not going to be too much of an issue so far because, well, he doesn't really need it at this point. He has got plenty of metal as it is. Lots of assistance going on here on this naval factory. I do believe it will actually finish quite a bit earlier than the naval factory for Artwarp will, and that's kind of funny because Artwarps are just quite a bit earlier than one of our recent case. Oh, we actually see an orbital launch pad going up, and well, seeing as there's nothing else to be going to, I don't see how that's going to be very useful. It would be useful for as power generation if that might be an issue. It could also potentially be useful for getting the commander on Astreus and then surrounding him by those weapons platforms. It's also a potential play you could do. Or just building a weapons platform and trying to stand the commander with that. Which if the enemy doesn't expect it, might actually be quite lethal, but yeah. I assume that as soon as it's scattered, there will be some kind of countermeasure in place to prevent anything of the sort. So now advanced naval fabricators is also being constructed. This narwhal here is going to town on these metal extractors. It's going to take him a while to actually plow through those, but it's definitely going to be useful at some point. And a task force of narwhals is coming in here as well, through the shallows. Some might get taken apart by this blue ball and the two other narwhals, but I assume they would win that fight. So first narwhal down, second narwhal down as well, it's the third down, and I assume now these guys are going to swing in and actually finish the fight. The orbital launch pad is nearly done. The advanced naval factory is nowhere complete at this point. And ooh, we have a Leviathan coming. And Leviathans are very good anti-naval wise. Also good for land bombardment. I personally prefer to actually get a load of blue balls and narwhals and mix those up with some stingrays for the long range bombardment capacity of those. But in a straight up fight, if you had a stingray versus a Leviathan, the Leviathan would win hands down. Unless it could plummet it from long range for hours, in which case the stingray would win. So yeah, this task force is gonna get taken apart, but it's gonna take out a few more ships before that happens. So this narwhal is now down as well. Did get a couple of shots on the other narwhal, but we're now down to 3 narwhals for Godde, and well, that's not gonna help. Maybe they will manage to take down the blue ball. But they seem to be focusing their efforts on this naval factory. And I don't believe they will be actually able to finish this off, especially with those fabrics around this area. Some missiles are apparently doing a conga line. I assume some hummingbirds from Godde and Artwarp met each other there and exchanged missile salvos. Yeah, because they seem to be swinging around here as well. So that's probably what happens. First Leviathan is ready and moving out. Second Leviathan is following up. No, actually a Stingray is following up. Lumberingly slow, but definitely very effective in the field. There's no real doubt about that. And we've got a torpedo launcher here as well. You don't often see these. Few more narwhals around this area, and oh dear, look at that. Yeah, once this guy gets a visual, you are toast. And here come the missiles of the Stingray, something you also shouldn't underestimate. I'm not entirely sure what this Stingray is trying to accomplish by shooting water, but that's what it was doing. So yeah, extra power generation seems to be the plan for Artwarp. That's why he actually built that orbital. Whoop, there we have it. More shells coming in. Nothing being constructed out of here. Oh, now Leviathan is being constructed as well. Not entirely sure if it's gonna be rushed out quite soon enough to be dealing with Leviathan that's coming their way. Although this one does not seem to have any visual of the area. It does know of a number of buildings, and it actually seems to have a pretty decent visual range of its own. So yeah, there's definitely some intel that's being distributed here, probably because those radars are being constructed so close to the enemy, and that actually allows this Leviathan to be much more effective than it would normally be. 2 more narwhals moving in. I do believe they will be taken out quite easily by this torpedo launcher. Ooh, that was a nasty hit. So yeah, these are down. However, now this big guy is getting in range, and I don't believe that the Leviathan to counter this will be constructed quite on time. And Blue Bottle now also got one shot in pretty substantial ways. Stingrays joining in on the fun, taking out some narwhals. And that's why I do like Stingrays. That long range bombardment capacity is so very sweet. So Leviathan's so near to completion, but these guys stopped assisting for some reason, and that might actually be detrimental. Now they are simply repairing the factory, and repairing the factory you will not see that particular Leviathan to completion. Although it did complete, so now we've got Leviathan versus load of narwhals and Stingray. And unless that gets some assists, I don't see this one doing too well. We'll definitely take some shots and maybe take out a few of these, but although this Leviathan's actually the GG is going up already, I assume, yeah, Artwarp is probably realizing he's pretty screwed. Yeah, so that's his factory down. It could try and take this guy under resistance with his feathers to keep it alive. Yeah, but it's dead now, so... So apparently Artwarp only has a land start, and he says that's screwed with his build order, which is a shame. I should probably have asked for a rehost then. I assumed he was fine with the land start spot, so didn't see anything else. No, he did not. So yeah, that's the end of that. And he self-destructed his commander. Anyway, both players being sportive and saying GG, and that is the end of that. Godde taking a win. So again, thanks for watching.